Welcome back, everybody. It's Dominic from the Primetime Treasure eBay store and YouTube channel. Thanks for coming by to check out another video. I am going to try to keep this video somewhat short tonight because I am still under the weather. I will be fine. I am now on antibiotics. I started those today. Turns out that what likely was viral at some point has morphed into bronchitis. So I have some combination of bronchitis and a viral infection. So hopefully with the medicine, my voice starts clearing up. I apologize in advance if I cough or lose my voice a bit during this video, but I like to try to turn situations like this and where there's something bad going on into something good. That's always how I try to reframe things. And so I have wanted to do a shorter video like this for a while, in which I go back to talking about the psychology of the interactions between buyers and sellers and what goes on there. As some of you know, some of you may not, I do work full-time as a board-certified neuropsychologist. As far as I know, I am the only reseller with a YouTube channel that has that type of background. So you do get the advantage of getting some psychological insights here and there when I do go into that type of content area. And what I want to talk to you is about a term that you saw in the title, which is called the double lowball. Now, that's probably not a term you ever heard before, and there's good reason for it, because I completely made it up. You've heard of the term lowball, and you probably have a great sense of what that is, which is that someone offered you a price that's too low for the item and you're not willing to accept it. But you're probably wondering what the heck does double lowball mean. So I'm going to get into that in just a moment. Whether or not that's a term that will catch on, I'm not sure. But it is something that I have noticed that buyers use from time to time, and I fear, given the frequency that I see it employed, that there are sellers that will fall into this trap from time to time. Now, if you have, do not feel embarrassed in terms of acknowledging that down below in the comments section. I hope that this video gives you some insights into preventing that from happening again, and feel free to let me know how you handle this type of situation. So let me jump into it. Now, I'm just going to use the example of a sale I made today. It is a comic book, but don't worry if you don't sell comic books, doesn't matter. See, the price here I have is $39.99 for this comic. You could replace any item it is that you sell with the example that I'm showing you today. Doesn't matter if it's not a comic. Now, this particular comic, just by way of background, is pretty desirable. It is desirable for several reasons. One, the title and the artist. It's Fathom by Michael Turner. I told you to write that name down the other day. Michael Turner is one of the hottest comic book artists around these days. He draws a lot of these covers and art of women like this, and these sexy poses. And so he's very popular for that reason. His art is very good, and this comes with a certificate of authenticity. It's a holographic cover, which means it's shiny like that in the light. It's a variant cover, which means that there's not as many versions of it around as the regular standard cover, so it's more rare. So for all those reasons, it is very desirable, and it's signed. So there's a lot of reasons why people would want this book. Turns out at the time I sold it, it had 9 watchers, so that gives you a good indication that the price is right around where it should be. Despite that, that does not prevent some people coming in and trying to lowball you on it. Now, I like to operationally define terms. So what I mean by lowball is someone has offered you 50% or less of what the current market value would dictate is the proper price for your book. So my price of $39.99 is based on market research and also based on what other current listings there are that are like this. Now, as a general rule of thumb, what I say is that I will put my price right at the top of where the current market value research indicates it should be if I have no other competitors for the item. However, if I have multiple competitors on the item, or even one competitor, I will put the price lower than that person, provided that that other seller has a similar feedback rating as I do, and that the item is in similar or identical condition. I'm not going to price this lower than someone with very poor feedback and or a damaged book for obvious reasons. So those are things you have to factor into the price, as well as how much do you have invested into the book. For me, this comes out of a large collection that I'm already in profit on. So this is all gravy, whatever it is that I get from it. You also have to factor in shipping. I have free shipping. For a single comic book like this, it costs $3.05 to ship it out first class at 7 ounces, which is what this came out to. So somewhere around $3 I factor into shipping. And of course, in your head, you got to figure in like the fees and that kind of stuff. So, but regardless, this will be nice profit as long as I get somewhere between $30 and $40 on the book. I'd really like to get more around $35 once in a while, and is why I keep it at the $39.99 at the upper end for in this instance, because I didn't really have competitors on it. Someone will once in a while come in and just purchase it, buy it now for $39.99, even though you have it listed as best offer. That's a mistaken assumption people believe, is that the sellers believe that if you put best offer on your items, that no one will purchase it, buy it now. That's false. Why? Psychology. If you have multiple watchers on an item, and sometimes even if you don't, there are some buyers that will become anxious, and sometimes with good reason, that someone else will just swoop in and purchase the item while they make an offer, because you have time to decide on that. You don't have to decide immediately whether or not you're going to accept it. So that's one reason to keep the price up there. The other reason is it gives you some negotiating room. If you know in your head you're willing to take between 30 and 35, let's say someone offers you 30, you could say, all right, I'll meet you halfway at 35, and most people will accept that, especially for a competitive item like this. Now, I wound up selling it for $34. I could have gone back and done the met halfway thing, but I didn't. Mainly because I'm just getting out of eBay jail, and I'm trying to just generate some sales, because I have noticed that does slow you down, and it's going to take some time to just get back on my footing with that. So I'm just trying to generate some sales, and $34 for this book is fine for all the reasons that I mentioned, so I sold it to the guy. Now, there were people prior to this has been up for about 6 days or so before it's sold. There were some people who lowballed me on it initially. Some people offered me $20, and in that situation, that's what I would define as the lowball, right? That's 50% of what I had it at. Now, in that situation, what I would suggest you do is, if you get a lowball offer, is that you immediately decline it. Do not counteroffer it. The person who's doing that, who's sending in that lowball offer, is doing it to test you, to see, one, are you that desperate that you will actually sell the item? A lot of people who are brand new will fall into that trap and will do that. They'll worry, no one else is going to come and make me an offer on the item. Not true, especially if you have a desirable item. There will be other offers. Don't be scared to decline the offer. The other thing the person is hoping is that you counteroffer, and if you counteroffer, you'll counteroffer significantly off where your current price is. So maybe you counteroffer at like 25. The person's like, great, and then they just take it. So don't do that. Make sure you don't counteroffer too low. But I would not counteroffer off of a lowball. Now, person offers you, like I said, $30, you counteroffer 35, it's fine, it's a different situation. But let's go into what I call the double lowball. The double lowball is when someone's initial offer is lower, so it is still a lowball, lower than 50%. So, for example, someone offers me $14 to $15 on this book. Now, you're obviously going to decline that, and the buyer knows you're going to decline that. But the buyer who's using this strategy, and you'll know it immediately, because what happens is that they will now come in and they will make another offer that's a lowball price, so $20. So they start at $14, they now come in at $20. That's the double lowball. Why are they doing that? They are doing that because now they're trying to play on your psychology, which is they know that their are a percentage of sellers, and it is a significant percent. I can't tell you what the number is exactly, but there is a significant percentage of sellers that feel guilty and feel bad about hitting the decline button. And so they know that if they get you to hit that decline button twice, that you might start feeling bad about that, and you're maybe more likely to throw in a counteroffer instead of hitting the decline button twice. So that's why that technique is used, to try to get you to either accept a price that's much lower than what originally happened. If they just lowballed you right off the bat at 20 and then started trying to work a deal out with you from there, they're trying to get the price lower towards their end by going 14 and then 20, so 2 lowballs right off the bat. Now remember, they have the opportunity to make 3 offers. So what I would suggest you do is do not fall into the trap of making a counter offer based on a double lowball offer. Do not do that. Simply decline it, because now the person has one more offer left, and it is up to that person to decide, are they going to stop playing games, especially if it's a desirable item, and are they going to give you an offer that is realistic that you could work with? So they offered 14, then they offered 20. You show, by the way, by declining both of that you have confidence in your item, and then you're not going to play around like that. So now some buyers will get the point, and if they really want it, they know they have one offer left, they offer you $30. You either take it or come back at 35. Fine. Took a while to get there, but fine. Now, there's others who will still play games, and instead of offering 30, they'll offer you $22. Simply decline that person. That might even be a person that you may just want to ban because they're not being serious. Again, especially if it's a desirable piece, something that has 9 watchers. Or another thing I love, sarcastically, is when people play this kind of game when they know it's an item that does involve more shipping. So I'm in New York and someone's doing this from California and it's a heavy piece. That happens a lot. So, my feeling on that one is, sorry, but if I'm offering free shipping and you're geographically far away and I've got a desirable piece, I'm not as willing to negotiate. I will negotiate, but I don't have as much flexibility now as I would from someone who's from a neighboring state, especially if it's priority mail. And, that's going to be, pricier, obviously, depending on the geographical region. So you have to take all those different things into consideration. There's a lot of things at play. But again, don't fall into that trap of the double lowball. If people have done that to you, I'd love to hear that. If, you've had that experience now that you could think back on it, or, after this video, you start seeing this and you're more on guard about it and you just do that automatic double decline. So that's really it. I wanted to pass that on to you. I've seen a lot of buyers use that. And again, just remember, just like we as sellers have our own psychological strategies that we use in terms of how we price things and how we negotiate, buyers have the same thing, and from their perspective, they're trying to get it for the lowest price. We're trying to sell it for the highest price. And a lot of times you just got to be in the middle. Now, sometimes, one side or the other is not willing to be flexible and you can't meet, or it's not realistic to meet for whatever reason. But this example of what I'm telling you about some buyers who do the double lowball and then on that third offer, they don't give you a serious offer back. Well, again, those people just aren't serious to begin with, and it's not really someone you want to continue to interact with. So I would suggest just restricting those people, just adding them to your block list so you don't have to deal with them again. Because my experience is also, if you don't do that, that they're just going to keep coming back at you at other items and just keep doing this. And it takes time doing all these counter offers and stuff. So it's not worth your time to keep dealing with that. So if you like the video, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you like this channel and you like the content that you're seeing. Feel free to share this content to others if you feel it will be helpful. Again, make sure you drop a comment, or if you have a question about negotiation, or if you have ideas about a type of video you want to see, whether it's about negotiation or something else, let me know that. Those ideas and suggestions lead to the type of content that I sometimes put on this channel. So I do take those suggestions very seriously. Come to my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center, if you'd like to join there, and follow me on Instagram at Primetime Treasure. Wish me luck. I have my Ric Flair NWA sign ending tomorrow in an auction, so I'm looking to see where that goes. And before I completely lose my voice, I'm going to make sure I wrap this one up. So I'll see you all at the next video, everybody. Take care.